Welcome to our new videocast. Let's talk wireless IoT. The videocast is powered by RFID and Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2021 and will feature exhibitors, sponsors, and speakers of the event. You want to meet the RFID and Wireless IoT experts live? No problem. Make sure to get a ticket and join the live event RFID and Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2021 in the RMCC in Wiesbaden, Germany. Or join the simultaneous virtual event that will contain live streams from the conference on-site and numerous speakers, as well as webinars, roundtables, and of course, easy-to-use communication systems. But for now, let's focus on the guests. See you in Wiesbaden. Welcome to our second episode of Let's Talk Wireless IoT, the videocast powered by RFID and Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2021. And our today's guest is Thomas Weisshaupt. He's ecosystem architect at Wirepas, and we prepared 3 question blocks for you, Thomas. Some questions for you personally, some questions about Wirepas itself, and of course, some questions relating what we can expect from Wirepas on-site at the exhibition in the RMCC in Wiesbaden at the end of October. So, how are you doing today?
First of all, Niklas, thanks for having me. I think we will have a very fun experience now because everything that can go wrong went wrong, and now everything will work super good. I'm pretty fine today. So here, sun is shining, weather is nice. My boss was nice to me this morning, so customers are happy. So I'm pretty well off today, and it's first day of schools for my kids. So I'm back to normal in some way today.
Yeah, I mean we can see the good weather in your webcam stream. So definitely a shiny day. I can only repeat, the weather is better than expected. Absolutely sunny day. Perfect conditions to stream. So my second question would already, where are you located at the moment?
So I'm just behind the city limits of Munich. If I look out of this window on the other side, you can see the hospital of Großhadern, one of Germany's largest hospitals. So one of my targets 2022 to get the asset tracking in there. And it's a little town called Martinsried, which is the center of the German biotech industry. So it's a pretty interesting area here, also in terms of innovation in this segment.
Okay, so you stay very close to the innovative areas. That's definitely where some creativity is flowing around. All right, Thomas, so I would like to start with my first question already. Are you prepared?
I am prepared for everything. So let's just get it up and running here.
Perfect, let's do it. So my first question is an easy one, and it is simply, will you be on site at the exhibition and the booth of Wirepas?
Sure, I won't miss it because as we will talk later, we have 9 of our ecosystems partner being present on our booth. So there is a very good chance after all this, home office and non-travel period to see in person all of our partners that we have engaged with in the last 2 years. And I'm pretty excited to being there together with my 2 colleagues from France, Ed and Suir and Sami. So those 2 will also cover or will also be there talking with their customers, being there for our international guests and partners from Southern Europe.
Yeah, so important information for everybody who is watching us or the recording. Mr. Weisshaupt will be personally at the booth. If you have any further questions, need more details or whatsoever, he's available for any kind of talks.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your personal roles at Wirepas, and now how long have you already been with the company?
So I've been with the company now for 4 years, starting in 2017 in the role of an ecosystem architect, product manager for the energy segment globally. And after a certain restructuring, we are a startup scale-up company, so things go fast. I have taken over the responsibility for the German-speaking countries, So doing everything in this area with all the customers, building ecosystems for the different segments we are in the tracking segment, as well as in the building segment, as well as in the industrial segments.
All right. You just said you're already part of the Wirepas team for 4 years now. So for how would you rate these 4 years?
It's a roller coaster. It's super interesting to see Wirepas growing and evolving over time, becoming a valid player in the different segments, especially in the tracking segment. So if you think 2 years back when we attended your last RFID and IoT and wireless in Darmstadt on place, we had a tiny booth with two partners who were not ready with a solution to deliver directly to industrial players. And now we are coming with 9 partners who collaborate together, who work together, who are working with us on winning large scale projects at industrial players. Yeah? And this has been building the credibility over the last 2 years, but it also has been a hard work and a very, very, let's say, as always, a bumpy road in innovation from the whole Wirepas team. So they did a great job in bringing the technical part to life, packaging the solution, offering to the market, and also let's say supporting our customers or our partners in delivering the right projects and delivering the best solutions that for the use cases that we are discussing.
So definitely a lot of changes. I can imagine it is very interesting time. A lot was done, and that can also be seen by your boost concept this year. But let's come to that later on.
Yeah.
But I can already say that it is not the regular boost concept that Wirepas implemented in the exhibition for this year. You also mentioned the event 2019. I think it was the last time both of us met in person.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened since the end of 2019. 2020 came up. The Corona pandemic, of course, was involving nearly all parts of our daily life, and we are more than happy to welcome Wirepas this year again in RMCC in Wiesbaden. Of course, with a safety concept, but in a face-to-face situation again. Okay, so my third question would be: what products and/or solutions are you in charge of at Wirepas?
So I'm personally luckily not in charge. Luckily for our customers, not in charge of a product or the code that we are providing. So there are much more skilled and better qualified people in Wirepas that are taking care of the technology itself. Because Wirepas is a let's say we have 2 products. One is already in the market. It's called Wirepas Massive, and it's a very simple software. It's not a simple, but it's a very tiny software stack that is telling an off-the-shelf radio chip how to behave in a network. So that we can build industrial-grade mesh networks, or that our customers and partners can build industrial-grade mesh networks without experiencing all the downsides using, let's say, technologies on the connectivity side that were designed for other purposes, like smart home purposes and stuff like that. So we have been focusing on the industrial market since our beginning in 2010, and we have been developing this stack, or our teams have been developing the stack further since the last 10 years. And this Wirepas Massive product is running on a standard 2.4 gigahertz band, so you can use it all over the globe. And one use case we are very proud of that this mesh networks are supporting is asset tracking, or tracking of people and things, as well as all the related use cases, be it goods in, goods out, inventory, and so on. So we are seeing our technology as an industrial grade alternative to short-range technologies like Bluetooth, Zigbee, and so on, who have always challenges in the area of either reliability or scalability. And our partners are using Wirepas as a connectivity technology and putting their specific solution on top of the hardware. And the integration partners, they are using the data coming out of these networks in order to deliver services around these use cases to their customers, then connecting to ERP systems, cloud systems, and everything behind. So we are not in the cloud business, we are not in the hardware business, we are really in this tiny little space of MAC transport and routing layer of data, and turning all these tiny little devices that we talk here into routers in a mesh network. And we can say that we are literally the only technology or scalable technology that allows asset tracking with battery operated infrastructures. It brings down complexity and cost tremendously for our industrial customers.
Okay, so thank you very much for this answer. Very interesting, and you partly already answered my next question. So my next question was: is Wirepas directly involved in projects, or is it mainly via partners? But you already answered it. So you're mainly connecting partners on all sides as well.
Yes. So we are involved in large projects. So if a large global player is, for example, one of our direct customers is Schaeffler, not in the asset tracking space, but in the condition monitoring area. For sure, we are engaging with them, and then they are coordinating technology partners alongside in order to develop and deliver their product and their solution based on a Wirepas mesh network. But on the asset tracking space, we are working with two kinds of partners. One are the hardware partners, so those who want to sell these kind. I now have an example. These kind of tags where you find let's say, off-the-shelf radio chip in and a tag application. Those are the partners that are reaching out for volumes for big, large-scale projects. And then we are working with the integrators who are then selecting between our partners their own partner, hardware partner, for delivering full projects end to end, so that large corporates and end customers do not have to worry about, let's say, connecting the dots. So the integrators are also on our booth. We have currently 5 of them in the market in Germany only.
Okay.
And they are selling the full solution.
So I think that were already a lot of interesting information for everybody to understand how projects are dealt with, and if you're looking for any kind of more information about more details, and of course about maybe where your individual project could be optimized, then please make sure to stop by at the Wirepas booth and get in direct talks. Wirepas will not only be there alone, but some of the partners you already mentioned that are necessary will also be there, so you get the full package at once.
But maybe I can highlight a little bit what we are doing there. So because the thing is that we used to have you used to attend your event and some others, and the challenge is always if somebody is coming from a corporate seeking a solution, like wants to track 500 boxes or 600 screwdrivers, or even 10,000 assets or boxes, then Wirepas itself is not offering the solution. So we are guiding to our partners. And now the biggest challenge we have is the trust in the technology. So that large corporates like the German automotive OEM are starting to understand the value that Wirepas can, as a technology, can bring. For example, we usually have a big issue or they have a big issue with frequency interferences. And we can help our partners overcome this issue by simply providing them information on how Wirepas works. And usually we overcome this issue and can become a viable alternative to the, let's say, more expensive but also more precise technologies that are needed in several areas. And we are, let's say, positioned a little bit in between RFID in the scaling and Bluetooth in the accuracy, and let's say have a much lower cost point for the coverage in the different halls, and that makes us very attractive. But still, we have to overcome the issue or the challenge of being a newcomer technology. So how you trust the technology you haven't seen, And the presence we have in your event this year is really a trust building. So showcasing that the technology partners our end users are working with are engaged with Wirepas, and the technology has been tested and has been approved by them as part of their offering of a multi-technology platform that they are doing.
Absolutely. That you mentioned the keyword trust is important on so many levels, and I can definitely understand your boost concept now even better to make sure to show there's nothing to hide. You can ask any questions. We have all informations available. We have even our partners here. So that is exactly the step that is of course important to implement to gain trust. And there's even one more point to it, and I wanted to come to this later on, but we can also do it now, that Wirepas and partners will also presenting some applications on site. So not only information maybe on the computer or on paper or videos, but you will see some applications, you can see how they work, and you get a better understanding. Is that correct?
That's correct. So our partners, so we have, I think also for our partners, this is a novelty, because our partners are in the end user market competitors, be it the hardware vendors, be it the integrators. So companies like Indutrax, IntraNav, Kinexon, Bornemann, they compete in the marketplace, but they all have their specifics. They all have their strengths, and they have their culture and their way of delivering projects to their customers. So they will all be on our booth, and they will, at least 3 of them will team up with hardware partners in order to cover areas on the exhibition. So they are in discussion with you as the organizers, or will be put in discussion with you as the organizers, in order to put some spaces where we just glue these battery operated anchors to the wall, and then can immediately locate stuff, and they will show it on their platforms, because Wirepas itself is really just providing the connectivity between these anchor points, and offering the, let's say, the location. I just change it because I cannot prefer one over the other. So this tag will then be put on on a device or on a flower pot or wherever, and you can locate this device with these anchors. So you don't have to draw any lines. You don't have to drill holes and all this stuff, but you can cover certain areas. You can even, and then you can run also 3 different networks in parallel doing the location. That's absolutely no problem. And our partners will show this setup live on the booth, and Wirepas will be there, just, let's say, as a facilitator in these demonstrations. And for sure, we also seeking new partners. So I feel that we create a fear of missing out when we have these tremendous amount of partners there, and others are maybe on the way to becoming the next partner, and we grow and grow and grow the ecosystem. And their collaboration is key. So we are not excluding anyone, or the best thing is the best setup for the end customer, and that's to be defined by the end customer. And for us, it's very, very important to be known by the end customer as one of the, or as the solution for specific use cases around low-cost asset tracking.
Okay, so I was just thinking about, we even forgot one dimension where you are also present, and I was just remembered by a question in the chat. Let me show it on the screen. Will Wirepas also be part of the conference? And the question is absolutely yes. Mr. Weisshaupt will also give a lecture in the conference program. So I think it's safe to say that all kind of important information will be shared. Please make sure to step by. There's nothing that is not offered on site.
So even I think some of our partners have handed in very interesting lectures proposals. So some of our partners will also be present on the conference part. And
yes,
finally, the event arena is right behind our booth, so you need to pass by our booth when you want to see any of the lectures.
Yes, you don't have to be afraid about long walks.
No.
Okay, so we already talked a lot about, well, not a lot, but you also mentioned some examples for specific projects you're dealing with at the moment. Is there maybe a project you can name? Maybe you're not directly the name, but describe as a more specific example?
So yeah, I think many of the projects are not public because people or companies are hiding it, or we even have not in Germany but in some other geographies partners who don't claim they are using Wirepas, but in the end, the one of the, let's say, public projects that was pretty successful is Festo. So Festo had some issues with a Bluetooth-based solution in order to get the use case solved. So the use case can be read on our website or on our partners IntraNav. IntraNav is our partner here website, and it was very interesting to see that it took a while to make Festo trust the technology. So we had to prove a lot of, let's say, we had to put a lot of effort together with our partners into proving that it works, and it was from a technical point pretty easy. But there are many interested parties inside this particular customer who are interested and who wanted to see it and so on. So we started off with a very small area, and it's working pretty well. And as soon as you have involved the people in the field, the people of the customer, like in Festo, the people that are really running the process, that have their hands on the assets, then these projects will be a success. And they are super happy as soon as I know about the easiness of the infrastructure deployment, so they can grow the areas pretty easily, so without calling a radio engineer or somebody else. So that's a pretty successful project that we also have public at the moment.
Okay, so if you want more information on this specific project, make sure to go on the website of Wirepas or IntraNav and see more information about this specific project. But you also talked about the effort it took to establish the trust. Was this product you talked about also one of the most challenging products you can think of, or are there even other projects that were even more challenging?
So each project has its own challenges. Yeah? So this one was challenging in the way that the end user, the end customer, has not heard of Wirepas before at all, which means skepticism in the beginning. So we want to learn more. So the partnership, or what we as Wirepas offer to our partners, is exactly this support during the acquisition and project phase. And another project was at an automotive OEM where short before the, let's say, the go live, some department of frequency, I mentioned this before, of frequency management of the site, was intervening and saying, well, this is a 2.4 gigahertz. We have some rules on how you use the band. We need to go through a testing process that it does not interfere our production critical and communication critical Wi-Fi networks and other stuff. Yeah. And in this case, for example, an integrator is usually not very prepared to provide these answers and to lead the discussion with these highly skilled experts on the radio technology. So that's also an offer that we provide to our partners here, is that we have called in our experts. So if I recall the first call between the radio expert of this automotive OEM and our CTO, I lost them in seconds in terms of that, what I understand. But in the end, the feedback was, yes, it should work. We do our own tests because it's the process. But I've never had a technology provider that delivered such a decent and clear answers on the questions and understood why we are here. And these are the challenges, the different challenges in the different projects. Yeah? So you see a lot of versatility, variety of challenges. The most difficult ones are always when you have politics involved. But that's I think everybody who does projects in large corporates knows when someone does not want to deploy a new technology, it's a very challenging thing to get into that place.
Absolutely. And by you telling us about this experience, you mentioned next to the very important point trust, of course, the very important point of communication. So how effective is the communication? How much information can be provided? How directly can they be provided? And is someone maybe stand alone, is not getting the information? And it's a very good sign that you are mentioned that you took over in the connecting of the right people, but also in providing the right information. And that is, of course, key to a successful project.
Yeah.
Okay, Thomas. So now I would like to focus even more on, I know we already did by this boost concept, of course we had, but focus more on Wirepas and the RFID and Wireless IoT Tomorrow 2021 itself. So my first question would be, what does the participation at the Tomorrow 21 mean for your company and for you personally?
So for our company, it means that we have that we are back on real life. So I think it's this. There is this event in France ongoing next week, I guess, called CIDO in Lyon. That will be the first one. We are present. Our colleagues are present. And this will be the second one. So for us, it's the restart after the Corona pandemic in the real, let's say, world of fairs, of being present, being in touch with partners, being in touch with customers. So I think, and looking at the 2 years that were in between, so we didn't do a very bad job, I guess, during the pandemic in order to grow from 2 partners to 9 partners, and all of them engaging in a collaborative approach. And making, let's say, the market know that Wirepas is a super good fit for this market. And for me personally, it means I'm a bit extrovert person sometimes, and I need to see people. So you see my place here. I like my place, but I also like to leave and come back. And seeing all 9 partners in person, and seeing all the customers or potential customers in person is something that means a lot to me. So getting out of this pandemic. So for me, it's a signal that the pandemic is not over, but at least for reasonable people, it should be over.
Yes, you see me smiling while you were talking, because I couldn't agree more. It's great to be back. It's great to have some personal interactions again. I think we all had to learn to go new ways, of course. But it's great to have this opportunity back to meet in person, to see someone, to see his face impressions, how he's walking, how he's acting, all of these information. Yeah, of course, we are not 100% back to normality. You're absolutely correct, mentioned it, but more things are possible. We are, of course, still providing a safety concept, but it is now possible to meet again in a safe environment. And I think after this long time, it's just awesome, and even more greater to have you with this massive booth and these 9 partners on site. So just so you all know, the Wirepas booth is the biggest booth we ever had in any kind of exhibition. So there will definitely be enough space for everybody on the booth to have a quiet and very interesting talk.
I cannot agree more, and be surprised about our testimonial mom, who will be very, very present at the booth.
Yes, absolutely. We don't want to talk too much about the final booth kits already. I saw the ideas, absolutely great. But you mentioned a very interesting point. Maybe I can pick this up. Your marketing campaign, Mom, and we have to point this out. Your new website. So the question, whose idea was it to create this person, mom?
So I think it is the result of a decent collaborative process about self picture, culture, and background. So we have hired, or our CEO has hired a very good head of marketing who had the task to recreate Wirepas, because we are also going to market next year with a private 5G solution. So the first 5G solution in the market that is not controlled by telcos. And for this, we need to stand out, because if you are then in the communication space, competing with Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, and so on, we can never reach these budgets, because we don't want to raise the prices, the cost for our customers. So we have to have something innovative. And as our technology has its roots in Tampere, in Finland, in North Finland, and you can compare this a little bit to the feeling of Heimat, yeah, that we also see in Germany, in several regions, where you are super proud where you come from, and you're super proud of whatever comes from this area. And we have taken this attitude of being proud of coming out of Tampere, and we can be very proud. 2G, or the first mobile phones or mobile technologies were developed from the university. We are a spin-off on the long run from the university. Our people live in Tampere. Our team are very rooted there. So this is one of the pillars. The other pillar is then wireless mesh is serious business. It's no, we call it no bullshit. Yeah, it's nothing you do in a weekend, yeah, or you can do with a PowerPoint slideshow and convince investors to give you 100, 200 million. Yeah, so we needed a testimonial that indicates that a serious person which is highly skilled, coming out of Tampere, which is our CTO. His mom made him so tough that this best, in her opinion, best IoT in the world is coming out, is the result. And we are now all benefiting from this. And mom is telling everybody how proud she is of her son. But on the other hand, how she makes him hard and tough, because he is in Tampere and not in a swimming pool in Silicon Valley. That's literally the message that we are bringing a little bit out. Yeah. So Finland is serious, high tech, and loves its roots, and that's what we try to express. Sorry for being long here, but I'm also very convinced about this approach.
Absolutely. So I can agree with absolutely agree with all points you said. I just wanted, or I would add even one more level, and that's the humor behind it, and that's a great aspect as well. It definitely points out it's not a regular marketing campaign. It is a great way to transport these messages you just mentioned. So for everybody, make sure to check it out. Go to the Wirepas website and watch some videos. See how the website is built up, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Yeah, so that brings me already to my last question. What products and solutions will you and your team be presenting at the exhibition? Well, we already talked about some of them, but you showed also one or two products in the camera.
Yeah. So literally, Wirepas is the connectivity in all these devices here. Yeah, like this one is a anchor point. Yeah, and this anchor point is then scanned by this device in order to measure the distance, the radio environment, and to then calculate the location of this tag. This is literally the Wirepas core product. Yeah? So we are providing these lines of code that these anchors and these tags can connect. Yeah, and then you have the sky is the limit. So your fantasy is the limit on what use cases, how you deploy this, how you present this to your customers. And this innovative part we are leaving to our partners, because that's not our core competence. Our core competence is really to make to make this Wirepas or these devices. You can compare it a little bit with this child game of silent whisper. Yeah? So they are silently looking for someone to passing on the message in the room, so that in the end you get all the messages in your system. Yeah? And that's Wirepas. That's the part of Wirepas. You can even add sensors to this asset tracking solution. So all is possible, but we leave it to our partners to accommodate the needs of the end users. Because as said, we are in tracking, we are in lighting, we are in building. Our brains are pretty big, but they cannot cover all these specifics of the markets, all the demands, all the requirements. But our partners do know what is needed, and they will then use this solution in order to present it to their customers. And to be honest, in order to ask the question on what novelty you will provide, you got to talk to our partners, because they are making, we have the raw material and they are making a good cake out of it, or a good pizza, or even a 3-star meal. We don't know. We know, but I can't present now these solutions. Yeah? So it will be pretty interesting. So all will have their own flavor, their own ideas, and this makes it so exciting for the future, because there are no limits, and we are also developing our stack further so that new features are coming in. We are listening to our customers and look what's coming next.
Okay, so make sure to talk to the partners at the Wirepas Boost, and as you already mentioned, make sure to follow some lectures that are also part of the conference program by the partners of Wirepas to get all information. Yes. Okay, Thomas. So I think we got a great impression about what Wirepas will be showing on site, who will be there, what the Boost concept is looking like. We got some information from you personally. Thank you for these insights. And of course about Wirepas and the great marketing campaign. So I think we are perfectly set up. And the next step for everybody is to meet you in person on the Boost at the RMCC in Wiesbaden. And the Boost number is Boost 70.
Thanks a lot, Niklas, for having me. And if you can't wait for the event, send an email, just call me. I'm happy to provide any information that you need. Or my colleagues somewhere in the other regions, that's also they're also great.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time, Thomas. And I'm looking forward to meet you in person in Wiesbaden.
Thanks a lot, Niklas. Have a great day. Have a great day all. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching the Let's Talk Wireless IoT session. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out and stay up to date on the event website or on our LinkedIn page. Hope to see you for the next Let's Talk Wireless IoT episode or in Wiesbaden.